There I am. Howdy, howdy, howdy. How are y'all doing? Fantastic. What, January 10th or something? I don't know. It's 2022 and it still doesn't seem right, but I'm glad it's past 2021. I was looking forward to 2022. Hope y'all are doing fantastic. Before I go any further, SKD 143. I love my wife. I love my kids. I love all the reality TV fans, especially the Big Brother fans out there. Hope y'all are doing fantastic. It's a little cold down here. I'm in Texas. I know some of y'all up north. This is nothing for y'all, but y'all been having bad stuff. Down here it gets to be 40 something degrees. It's a freezing cold. I don't know how I was gonna say I don't know how I survived in the house. It was so hot inside the house for the most part. I know when I went in, I had all kinds of long sleeve shirts and everything because I thought maybe it was going to be a little bit cold in there. Now, with all the lights and everything inside that house to make us all, brighten up and everything in terms of the all the cameras and stuff, it was always so hot in there until the very end of the season when I think they turned the AC down just so we would dress up more fallish looking clothing, just to make it look like the end of the season. All that. Just my own conspiracy thoughts. But anyway, all that being said, a little cold in here this evening, but that's all right. We will make it through. I am glad to see all of y'all out here, and I want to look at the comments in just a second. But I thank you for being out here because I also know there is maybe a big national championship football game going on, and I'm actually going to watch it once I get done with this. So yeah, kind of tough. I know, but for those of you who are watching live, thank you so much. For those of you who are watching on replay because you watch the game or just because, that's all right. I understand, and I'm still out here for those for y'all also. But let me see who is out here. Amanda Lowe, tonight's a big game. Yes, it is, and I hope it's a good game. The semifinals, not so good. Those were all kind of blowouts, but I think tonight may be kind of good. And as Mark saying, last chance, Georgia, Alabama. Last week you said Big Red. Any changes? Mark, you know what? I think Georgia could do it this year. I don't really care so much who wins or doesn't. There's some years where I'm all in for one team or the other. This year, Bama versus the Bulldogs. Whoever wins, it'll be okay. I just hope it's close. But I think I'd like to see Georgia win just to spread the wealth, so to speak, just so someone else wins a national championship that hadn't won in a while. So that'd work for me. Now, obviously, my team's the Texas Aggies, and they're not in there, so it makes it a little bit less exciting to watch. But I still hope it's a good game. If A&M ever makes it to the national championship, y'all thought y'all saw me doing some crazy stuff on Big Brother. I'll have to carry a camera with me. I'll probably do Instagram lives the whole time I'm there. And y'all are going to see the most rabid, crazed college football fan ever as I'm there cheering on my Aggies. And I will figure out a way to get tickets. Hopefully. I don't know. I maybe would have had to win Big Brother in order to pay for the tickets it'll take to get into it. But anyway, there you go. So now thank y'all for being here. And yeah, I think Georgia's going to do it. David Buchanan. Hey, David, how are you? Andy saying roll tide. Yeah, I don't have any problems with that. As long as they aren't playing my Aggies. Braun Hostetler. Braun, how are you as well? Cindy Heyer. Howdy. Michelle Moore. Anyone watch Dexter? That's one of the ones I got to put on the list. Linda Acuff as well. Paula Scar. Lori Line. There's a lot of y'all out here. Thank you. Stars out here as well. Ma just woke up from a nap. Oh, I'm envious. That sounds pretty good to me. You know, as a kid, no one likes to take naps, right? As you get older, it's like, God, give me some time to take a nap. That sounds fantastic. But that was one of the toughest parts about being inside the Big Brother house. I think y'all probably know, but we'll see y'all know. We weren't allowed to sleep between the time they woke us up in the morning, which was anywhere from 8 to 10 o'clock, depending on what was going on. Usually either 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock in the morning. And we had to stay awake until 10 o'clock at night. And that was it. There was no sleeping. Now, you could put on some sunglasses and kind of fake your way through every once in a while and maybe get a quick little nap here or there. But for the most part, they wanted you awake so that you would talk and make for interesting TV and everything else. I was always a little surprised. I mean, when you're talking live feeds, who's watching live feeds at 10:30 in the morning? Well, a lot of people are, but there's a lot of people that are at school or at work, places like that. Whereas at night, 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, a whole lot more people are watching. I was always surprised that they didn't just say, all right, hey, y'all, y'all sleep till noon, as long as you promise that you'll then stay up to at least midnight, 1 o'clock or whatever. So we get good TV when a lot of people are watching, which would have fit our schedules a whole lot better anyway. Now I was up early in the morning, but for everyone else, they would have killed to get that. But it probably has a lot more to do with all those cameramen who like working 9 to 5 instead of noon to midnight kind of stuff. I always assumed that once, I don't know, that as the evenings wore down, there were fewer cameramen running around. I also like to think that the first part of the season, when there were 16 of us in there, those walls were probably filled with cameramen going everywhere, filming all of us all at once and everything. And by the time we got to the end where there's just 4, 5, 6 of us, they maybe had 2 or 3 people who are saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe I'm still in here 13 weeks later, still filming these guys." And there's only 3 or 4 of them to watch what they're talking about. You wonder how often they get bored sitting there holding the camera thinking, how long can this guy sit here and drink his coffee and talk? I'd love to talk to a cameraman one of these days. All right, a little deviation from as well. Mark Taylor, how are you, sir? And who else did I think I got most of y'all in Maryland? If I didn't say hello to you before, Miss Fire as well. Howdy. Alicia, I never know how to pronounce that. Alicia, I'm gonna stay with Alicia. Kitchen Gadget Queen. All right, I love that ID. That's a pretty funny name. Jake the Snake, and I think that's about it. No, I say that like it's about it. Chaz, Mark Taylor, Christine. All right, I'm caught up in the comments is what I meant to say, because we got all kinds of stuff to talk about. So I want to try to stay caught up as best I can. All right, we mentioned the football championship, which hopefully will be a good game. Couple other things I wanted to throw out there before we start talking about some reality TV news, and we do have a little bit of reality TV news to talk about. All right, first of all, I see the comments, so I'll just go and answer it right now while I'm thinking. Noah says or asks, are there actually people with cameras inside the house, or all just in the wall? No one inside the house. Noah, we didn't see anyone inside the house. It's not like there's cameramen running around with cameras like I think The Challenge does and Survivor not. Now, inside the house, the only thing we would see is the cameras that were pointing at us, that were sitting up in the corners and all that. And sometimes you'd walk by and you'd see those things go, and they follow you as you walked along. So you knew you were being, not that you didn't know you were being watched all the time, but we had those cameras. As far as actual cameramen, they were all behind the walls, behind the glass, so that we could never see them. Every once in a while, you could hear them. Maybe 2 or 3 times the whole time we were in there, we heard someone's cell phone go off, or we could hear a couple of people whispering back and forth and things like that. But for the most part, you never knew for certain when someone was in there, when someone wasn't. You just always assumed they were. So there you go. All right, couple things I want to talk about before we get into the reality TV. First of all, I talk about today is national whatever, tomorrow's national. Well, one tomorrow, a little dear to my heart. Did y'all know tomorrow, January 11th, I don't know if there's any significance to it or not, tomorrow is National Milk Day. Yes, indeed, milk, one of my all-time favorite beverages. Drink it with everything. I'll drink it with pizza, which people complained about when I was inside the house. People find the weirdest things to complain about. They didn't like the fact that I was drinking milk with my pizza. Seems natural to me. Milk's dairy, cheese on the pizza's dairy. It just kind of goes together. But I love me some milk. And when I went into the Big Brother house, that was one of my concerns, was that, oh my gosh, they may not have that much milk, or it's going to be skim milk or oat milk or something that's not what I'm used to drinking. And I can go 3.5 months without McDonald's, without Whataburger, without my Domino's pizza, things like that. But I'm not sure I can go 3.5 months without milk. I'll tell you this, if they hadn't had big old containers of milk, I probably would have, for my HOH basket, said, Dad, forget everything else. No, I don't care about anything. Give me pictures of my family and give me a couple of gallons of milk. Dad, don't worry about the alcohol. Just give me some milk and I'll be fine. But I got inside the house, and the first thing I discovered is big old wonderful gallon containers of milk inside that refrigerator. And I also discovered, maybe it's because I became one of the favorites. I don't know. But if I asked very nicely to Big Brother when I went into the diary room when we were running low on milk, occasionally an extra gallon would show up in the storage room when we weren't paying attention. And so they kind of took care of me. Now, not to the same level as Mickey and the watermelons during my season. That guy, it seems like those watermelons were just growing inside the house. They were always watermelons inside. But I can't complain. There was a lot of milk in there as well. So thank you, Big Brother, for taking care of old Boss Hog for 3.5 months with a whole lot of milk. All right, a couple of comments as well. David Buchanan, it's going to be brutally cold tomorrow here in Montreal. Yeah, I hear you. And Michelle Moore saying 1 degree in Wisconsin. I feel for you guys. I mean, I live in Houston where it gets to be 115 degrees and the humidity is 99%. You feel like you're taking a shower as soon as you walk outside. So we have our rough weather, but being the Texas kind of person I am, I think I can take the heat a lot more than I can take the cold. 1 degree temperature, brutal cold, snow, ice. Yeah, I'll leave that to y'all. I love snow skiing. I guess it's been a few years since I've done it, but I absolutely love snow skiing. But even when I'm up there, going, at the top of the hill, getting to see, you can see forever. You look down in front of you, and it's typically for me, I look down and think, why the heck did I choose this slope? I am getting ready to die because it always looks like it's straight down and big old moguls and things like that. But even when I'm right in the middle of having fun on the snow skiing and doing my cutbacks and all that, I still remember there's a lot of times where I just think, God, I am really cold. How in the world did they talk me into paying someone money just so they could haul me up to a mountain where it's 20 degrees or whatever and tell me to get down to the bottom as quick as you can? What a crazy sport, right? But as we talked about last week, give me a ski jump at the bottom and some Olympic music playing, and I'll try it. I'll do whatever. But yeah, all right. Y'all win the cold temperatures award, and I'm happy to give y'all the medal this evening. And now we do have the Winter Olympics coming up. Did y'all know that? It seems like with COVID and all of that, the whole Summer Olympics, Winter Olympics got so out of kilter. I just can't keep track of it anymore. But I think the Winter Olympics are starting on the same night or within 24 hours of Celebrity Big Brother. So y'all know where my focus is going to be, right? I mean, I like watching Olympics and all, but this season, sorry, the Olympics are going to have to wait. I'll look it up on social media, figure out who won, and do all of that. Because I got to watch me some Celebrity Big Brother. All right, a couple of more comments before we go any further. Mark Taylor, player Boston Robs. Surprise, surprise, surprise. Any word on Celebrity Big Brother? Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a second. Well, I tell you what, we'll talk about it right now, and then I'll come back, cover some other stuff later. Celebrity Big Brother. First of all, I don't know if y'all knew, it just came out a few hours ago. We now have the official Celebrity Big Brother logo, and it's right here behind me. Let me get out of the way so y'all can see. Yeah, isn't that cool? So a red carpet, a lot of snow, because we all know how much it snows in Los Angeles, right? But whatever. Red carpet, snow, Celebrity Big Brother. I think that's supposed to be LA in the background there and all of that. So we have a logo. What's that? Is it Ron Paul, politician? They always have that meme. It's happening. It's happening. Yeah, that's what I feel with Celebrity Big Brother. We still don't know anything about cast. Now, I've heard all the same names that y'all have. The big name that I hear over and over again is Tiffany Pollard. Tiffany Pollard's going to be on. Tiffany, I think people have talked about her so much that I don't think she's going to be on. I think that's too obvious. I think I'll be proven wrong quick enough, but I think she's going to be on. I don't know. I think they'd be doing things to counter or throwing up some other rumors instead or something. We'll see. I've heard all the names, and I don't think anyone really knows who it is. But one of the things, in terms of cast reveals, the last 2 seasons, there's only been 2 other celebrity Big Brothers here in the U.S. They've got a bunch of them over in the UK, don't they? So one of y'all who are over in the UK, tell me, they've done a lot of the celebrity version over there, I think, haven't they? But here in the U.S., they've only had 2 seasons, and I think I read somewhere that one time they revealed the cast 8 days before the show started. The other time it was 10 days before the show started. So it is possible, and that was before COVID. So I don't know how that changes things, but if you take 8 to 10 days or so, and I also read that they really like to reveal the cast for Celebrity Big Brother. The last 2 times they did it, they were on Sundays because they feel like that's big viewership on Sunday nights. CBS has a lot of viewers on Sunday. So with all that being said, couple of sites I've taken a look at have talked about saying that if the season starts on February 2nd, which it does, then potentially you could have a cast reveal on January 23rd, which is, I think, about 10 days ahead of the season actually starting, a week and a couple of days, which I guess it makes sense. Announce the cast. As soon as you announce them, they immediately go into whatever version of Sequester celebrities have. I have a feeling their version of Sequester is a whole lot nicer than my version of Sequester was, right? I picture a palatial house somewhere with people bringing them caviar and saying, here's your lobster rolls, enjoy it. And people coming in doing their nails and all kinds of fancy stuff and probably enjoying their week and a half or so before they actually go in the house. So a little different than we had. But yeah, so they'll do that. Noah's saying, are there, yeah, we talked about that. Are there actually people in the walls or just cameras? Chris is saying, I always wanted to be one of the camera people. Yeah, me too. And I've said this before, but if I had a chance, I would love to sit down and just talk to the cameramen, the producers, some of the people behind the scenes, and hear all the stories that they've got that they haven't told anyone yet, right? Big Brother would be a cool tell-all book at some point in time about all the little deep secrets that none of us ever heard about. So I don't know. Hopefully they don't have any deep secrets about me. I don't think so. Mine would probably hopefully be boring stuff like, yeah, Cliff snored a lot more than we showed on the camera, or I don't know. Or Cliff was a horrible dancer. We only showed his best dancing and not his worst. I don't know. Whatever. But I have a feeling they've got some pretty interesting secrets as well. All right, let's see. What's Misfire? Isn't Haley from Big Brother 20 an Aggie? Craziest fan encounter. And Mark saying, didn't your Aggies beat the Tide? All right, we'll talk about A&M and then we'll get back to Celebrity Big Brother again. Yes, Haley is an Aggie. In fact, Haley is. I think I've told some of y'all the story before. Haley is one of the reasons I ended up on Big Brother, because Haley being an Aggie, so I was cheering for her during her season. She was also one of the few Big Brother people I actually followed on Twitter because she was an Aggie and down here in Texas and all that. And so she's the one who posted February 18th, if I recall, of 2019. She posted, said, casting call here in Houston for anyone who wants to be on Big Brother. I'll see y'all there. And so, yeah. So I showed up. I don't think I even knew about it until I saw her posting, which was just the night before. And so which makes me think, yeah, if the only way you find out about these casting calls and everything is on social media, Twitter and all of that, you're kind of limiting the people who are trying out, right? I mean, I've talked about the fact I wish there were a few older people there, more older people every season. Well, when you only use social media, there's not as many of the older folks that maybe even hear about it in the first place, right? So maybe they need to change it up a little bit. Maybe I'll change it up. I don't know. Next time they do casting call, I'll post it on MySpace for the older folks or something. I'll go on AOL or something. But anyway, yeah, Haley posted that. Haley was there, so I met Haley as well, and everyone else is all going on and on about her. Say, oh, I love watching a show or this or that. I just said, Haley, I want to see your Aggie ring, because I've got my Aggie ring, and I got when I went to A&M, and so she was all excited. She came over and showed me hers, and so yeah, that was kind of cool, just getting a chance to talk about kind of non-Big Brother stuff for just a little bit. Craziest fan encounter, y'all are asking. I hear some people who have crazy, with strange situations, people showing up in awkward situations and all of that. I'm trying to think my craziest ones. I don't know. I had one that was kind of fun. I did a meet and greet, and one couple showed up, and the wife had just had a baby. I mean, I'm talking like a week or two earlier, which, man, God bless her for actually getting up and coming to a meet and greet. That impressed me all by itself. But what was really cool is she had her daughter there. It's a brand new newborn, and they had a shirt on her that said Cliff's Littlest Angels, because Cliff's Angels and all that from my season. So this shirt said Cliff's Littlest Angel. It was this little baby wearing a shirt talking about me. I suitably impressed. It was really cool. So even more cool was the fact they actually let me hold the baby. And for those of you who haven't been parents before, the idea that you would let any stranger hold your baby when she's only a week or two old, that takes a lot of trust. I don't think we let anyone hold our kids until they were 14 or 15 years old. I mean, nah, it's so they let me hold the baby and take some pictures with her and everything. So that was pretty cool. Crazy, maybe not crazy, but it meant a lot to me as well. I haven't had any crazy encounters. I'm trying to think of it. Everyone's been incredibly nice and friendly, and I've loved talking to everyone. Now, I've gotten a few DMs here or there. People are, I don't know if they're just, maybe they kind of half asleep. We'll say half asleep as opposed to medicated up or anything. I've had some people that I wasn't real sure they were completely connecting as well. Now I've had some people that turns out they're just trying to sell me Bitcoin and things like that. So I get interested in things on social media where people send me some stuff here or there. But in terms of in-person encounters, they've all been fantastic. I did have, it's funny. I get used to just regular life. I'd go to the grocery store and everything else. We were at, where were we? Schlotzsky's, I think, getting a sub sandwich. And I'm just sitting, I'm playing the radio and nothing special going on. I order and the worker at the window, all of a sudden she looks at me, she says, I know you. I know you from somewhere. And I said, well, do you watch TV? And then she, oh, yeah, Cliff from Big Brother. And next thing you know, everyone is all poking their heads to the drive-through, taking a picture of me just sitting in the car saying, hey, and all of that. So they were nice, but that was one of those where I was probably tuning the radio or just paying attention to other stuff and had not even thought about it until she did that. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, that's me. So yeah, those are always fun when it kind of slips in my mind and someone recognizes me and we get to talk a little Big Brother and all. So that's always fun. Mark saying, oh yeah, I forgot to address that. Didn't your Aggies beat the Tide? Yes, in fact, Texas A&M is the only team to beat Alabama this year. 31-28 on a very last second field goal. We played them at Kyle Field. Oh, incredible game. I was running around the house acting all crazy and excited and all. And so, yeah, if Bama wins tonight, well, at least I can say that we beat the national champions. I think the same thing happened the last time A&M beat Alabama, which was 2013, I think. Alabama went on to win the national championship, but we kind of ruined their perfect season. So, for the Bama fans out here, sorry. Not sorry, but yeah, at least we have a little that we can brag about this season as well. Mark is saying, yeah, only 3 weeks left till Big Brother. And Cindy, all right, yeah, let's cover this. When does it air? Well, it airs, Cindy, all the time. It starts on February 2nd, as I mentioned. But here's what I didn't realize. We talked about the cast reveal a little bit earlier, and I said it could be January 23rd, probably the earliest. Maybe it'll be later in the week, but it could be January 23rd. But here's what I didn't realize. Now, first of all, they're also going to have live feeds, which is exciting for me because I'll try to cover those live feeds, do some recaps on YouTube. Probably do it every morning, just like I've done in the past. So I'll do a little bit of that. But here's what I didn't realize. Did y'all know that Celebrity Big Brother is only going to be 21 days? My season, 99 days. I spent 93 days inside the house. That is a long time. No matter how many times I think about it, 93 days was just a long time to be away from my family, trapped in that house with those other house guests and all that. That's just a long part of life that you give up to play the game. Not that I regret it. Not that I wouldn't do it again if they asked, but that is a long time. The celebrities saying, yeah, there's not a chance in hell that I'm going to stay in anywhere for 99 days. So they're doing only 21 days. But in 21 days of Big Brother, we have 15 episodes. So do the math on it. That basically means in 3 weeks, 15 episodes. We've got about 5 episodes per week. So it's not going to be like my season that was, what did we do? Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday, 3 episodes a week. No. This one, I think Tuesday, there's never an episode for whatever reason. And the rest of them, it changes a little bit. But basically, 5 out of every 7 days, there's going to be an episode of Big Brother on. So a whole lot of Big Brother for Celebrity. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a busy few weeks, but it ought to be a lot of fun. Now, if they do and I can't remember how many celebrities they start with. They don't start with 16. They start with what, 12, something like that. I just don't remember. But if they only have 3 weeks, it's not like we're going to evict someone one week, boot someone from the house, and then we'll do it again another week. Everything's going to be so much more compressed. They're going to have to be booting someone every third day or so, right? So there's not going to be nearly the downtime that they have that we have during a regular season. They'll do the HOH, probably the nominations, maybe the same evening, the next morning, veto the next day, and probably probably eviction the day after that. I mean, I think they'll get it down to 3 or 4 days per. They have to, and then you throw in a double and all of that. But yeah, it's going to be a whole lot of activity going on inside that house. I'm kind of cool to see what they do at the house. It's been a few seasons since I still like my house the best, but it's been a few seasons. I want to see how they decorate it up. Remember last season, they changed up the configuration just a little bit. They have a door that goes into the bathroom, so you have a little bit more privacy to gossip and talk and everything. I'll be curious to see if that door stays where it was and what else they changed. I'm just excited. I'm excited about everything to do with the Big Brother, celebrity or otherwise. And then after Celebrity Big Brother, we got Big Brother Canada. And then after Big Brother Canada, we got our Big Brother US as well. So we got a solid 8 months worth of Big Brother coming up. And I'm so excited. All right, a couple of comments. Chris, would love to know what the Cameron people experience is like, sleep schedules, etc. Yeah, absolutely. That'd be cool. That'd be fun. That would be fun. Ma wants to be a Cameron person and Zingbot. All right, well, being a Cameron person I think it would be cool. I think it'd be fun. Like I said a little while ago, it may get boring at times, but you also get to. I picture these camera people going home and telling their families, "You will not ever guess what I recorded this evening." And the families are probably saying, "It's live feeds, and we already know what you recorded. We were sitting there watching what you were doing." But yeah, I have a feeling that there's cameramen that sit behind those walls, and some of the conversations we had, they can't say anything. But I'm sure they just probably every once in a while look at each other and go, and can't believe the idiocy, the sniping, the betrayals, everything that goes on inside that house. They probably, I'm sure they have some good laughs about all of it. I met one cameraman after the show when the show wrapped. We had to all go downstairs and meet producers and cameramen and talk to everyone. And unfortunately, it was so crowded. And as soon as they would lead us, the guy that was kind of my handler, isn't it cool to say you had a handler? I guess prisoners probably have handlers as well, right? But my little handler said, "Look, Cliff, here's the deal. If I take you in and drop you off at the door, you're never going to get any further than that because people are going to take pictures and all that. So he said, I'm going to lead you halfway into the room. So you're right in the middle. And then from there, do what you want to do." And I said, "Okay, sure." So he led me in halfway and said, "You're on your own, Cliff, at this point." And at that point, I never moved for the next 2 hours or so because I'm talking to people and taking pictures and just enjoying the night and everything. But I found out later, I talked to one cameraman who I talked to for just a second before he had to move on. There were a lot of producers and cameramen stuff, and I just wish I'd had more time to interact because as I've said before, we don't see the people that we're talking to when we're in the diary room. We hear their voices, and there's, I remember being in there, hearing a certain voice and trying to picture a face that went with it, which I was probably completely wrong, but imagining in my own mind a face that seemed to match up with that voice. And it would have been cool if I heard some of those voices at that after party and said, I remember you from inside the house or whatever, but I didn't get the chance to do it. Now being Zingbot, that'd be a little interesting. Zingbot's only there quickly. Zingbot comes in and does his zing and does his little things, and then he's back out the door. But I got the impression Zingbot's pretty big. I didn't realize how tall he is with all the gear he's wearing and everything else. I'm guessing it may get a little hot, a little hot in there, and a little uncomfortable carrying all that weight and everything to do that job. But I don't care about being Zingbot. I'd like to be someone who writes some of the Zingbot jokes. I feel like I could do pretty good at putting some digs on some people if they gave me the chance to do it. I kind of wish I kind of wish CBS would give us as fans the opportunity to put some of our own Zingbot jokes in place. And we would vote on the one that we thought was the best, and Zingbot would have to read it or something. And man, we could be brutal. We could go after one or two of those house guests that we didn't maybe like so much as others, right? I feel like we could get a pretty good dig in if CBS would give us a chance, which is probably why they don't give us a chance. They probably don't trust us to not just eviscerate one or two of those people if we had the opportunity. But who knows? If you're watching CBS, feel free to steal my idea. I'd love to see it. Maryland Southern. Yeah, rip Bob Saget. Oh, I couldn't believe it. He was only like 65 years old. Did y'all know that? I mean, I say that. I maybe didn't realize he was even 65, because for the rest of my life, when I think Bob Saget, I'm going to think Danny Tanner, right? I mean, I was a little older than some of y'all, but we watched that show. My kids watched it and everything, Full House. So I'll always think of him as being on that show and at that age and everything else. Now, I've heard, I never saw any of his stand-up routines, but I heard when he did his stand-up, he was a completely different person. He could be raunchy and risque and make everyone blush inside the whole place. So there were certainly different sides to Bob Saget. But yeah, between Full House and America's Funniest Home Videos, and I've heard he was hilarious with his stand-up and everything, and How I Met Your Mother, right? He was the voice on that as well. He did a lot of stuff. And so, yeah, I don't know what the cause of his passing was. I hope it's not anything too scandalous or anything else. But yeah, he's going to be missed. I hated to hear that. Yeah, we lost him. We lost Sidney Poitier, which what an amazing actor. He's he did a lot. Most of his stuff was back in the 70s or so. But Lilies of the Field, To Sir with Love, some just fantastic movies from Poitier. I was a huge fan. So yeah, it's kind of rough in terms of some of the people we lost. And of course, Betty White, a few weeks earlier. I'm still upset about that. I wanted to, January 16th would have been her 100th birthday. So we're getting within a week or so. She came so close. I don't know. I'm not going to complain that much. I kind of, I hope I get that close as well. Hopefully go a little beyond that, but I hope I get that close. And who knows, man? Maybe in the Big Brother house again, celebrate my 100th birthday. You never know. All right, Chaz. How will you play different when you go back in the house, if at all? That's an interesting question, Chaz. And I think about that all the time because when All-Stars came along, I didn't really think they were going to call me back. But it's cool that I even had the little inkling that maybe if the right people cancel or something, you never know. But I've thought about that. If I ever went back in the house, would I play differently? Would I play the same? Well, I know a couple of things. I'd be a lot less loud when I was talking to the cameras because even an old dog does learn every once in a while. And so I would definitely be a lot more quiet. I would not be as trusting. I would just have to, I think before I went in again, I would just tattoo on my wrist or my arm or something. Don't trust anyone in here. Just to remind me of it. Maybe I'd have a little code word so people didn't see it and understand what I was saying. But yeah, it wouldn't be nearly as trusting. It was hard. I went in saying, I'm not going to worry about emotions. It's going to be straight up logic and strategy, but you still develop relationships while you're in there and friendships and all that. And so, it's tough. I always thought it'd be kind of fun if I went back in, if I just started off as a complete villain, just to turn everything upside down, because I think everyone would come in thinking, oh yeah, we saw in his season, he may have, whatever, strategy-wise, he did some good stuff, maybe not so much, but he always pretty honest about the way he was talking about stuff and everything. And how cool would it be just to go back in and just lie through my teeth and betray people every step I could, be the Russell Hantz of Big Brother and just throw people under the bus. I could probably go in and make up some huge lie at the very beginning and everyone would believe it just because it's me, it probably would come back and bite me in the rear end before long. But I don't know, there's a part of me thinks it'd be fun to go in and play a different persona. When I went in, I was just me because I didn't know how to do any differently. And I don't know if I could try to take on something that I'm not for 99 days. But maybe it'd be fun to try. Having said all that, I'd probably end up being pretty much the way I am now, just because that's just who I am, and it's tough. It's a little bit like trying out for Big Brother. Everyone always says, and I absolutely believe this, don't try to portray yourself as being something that you aren't, because the casting people will see right through it. If you're normally kind of a quiet, friendly person, don't go in there and act like you're going to be the most mean, horrific person in the world, because they'll figure out that you're not, just the way you interact with other people and all that. And so just like trying out, you kind of have to just be who you are. I feel like playing the game, you have to be who you are as well, and all that. So I don't know. Character-wise, maybe I wouldn't change that much. I certainly learned a lot, and I'd play a lot differently just based on what I learned the first time around. But beyond that, I don't know. But it'd be fun to try it just because. All right, let's see. What else do we have on here? Mark, does Julie Chen do Celebrity Big Brother? Yes, she does. She'll be hosting Celebrity Big Brother. And I don't know how that's going to work. I know one or two of those episodes are going to be 2-hour episodes. I think they'll still be live episodes. I assume that the evictions may be live episodes. I think. I don't know that. I've only seen the list of what nights have been set aside on CBS for the Big Brother episodes, but I assume with those 5 or so episodes per week, you'll probably only have one a week that's live. And maybe, who knows, with COVID and all, you almost don't need live episodes, even though it's kind of exciting that we know it's happening right there in person, all that. You don't have to have live episodes. If you don't have an audience to come out there, you don't have to worry about spoilers and everything else. You could tape it, and then it interferes with the live feeds a little bit, but you could tape it in the early afternoon and show it that night or something if you want to. But if you do that, no, you still have Julie there. It's just not live. But yeah, that's a long answer. The short answer is, yeah, Julie's going to be hosting, and I'm looking forward to seeing her and how she interacts with all these folks. How cool would it be to get Julie to play Big Brother one of these days? I don't think she'll ever do it. In fact, I'm just almost positive she'd never do it. But I'd love to see it. I'd love to see how she does. She certainly should have a lot of experience, right? I mean, she should know everything involved and know how maybe the game should be played. Now, would she play that way? I don't know. It'd be fun to watch, though, wouldn't it? Chassan, we'd all love to see you back in there too, Cliff. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I certainly do. And then Chassan, it'd be cool to see come back as a villain wearing a black hat. Well, now, all right, wearing a black hat. Yeah, there you go. Replace this hat with the black one, and yeah, would people pick up on that? When I walked in, would they say, yeah, I don't know about that, Cliff? Or would they just go over their heads? I don't know. Now, here's something for y'all. I think I've said this before, but maybe not. This hat was one of the hats that I took with me to Los Angeles to go on the show, but I actually planned on wearing a straw hat while I was in the house. Kind of the rule. What is it with the women's wear that you're not supposed to wear white between Memorial Day and Labor Day, or outside of between Memorial Day and Labor Day? I don't know. Yeah, it's summertime. Well, kind of for cowboys and everything, there's a bit of a rule that you wear your straw hats during the summertime and you wear your felt hats during the wintertime. It's all about heat and temperature. You don't want to be wearing a felt hat in Texas when it's 110 degrees outside in the summertime. So you switch to the straw hat, which gets more ventilation and everything else. So I decided to say, okay, I'm going to take 2 cowboy hats into the Big Brother house with me. And I'll wear mainly my straw hat, but occasionally I'll wear this one because it's a little more formal and all that. Was a little too white, and I guess the camera, it's something about the lights on the camera, the lights in the house, when they hit that hat, they reflect back and they wash out everything that the camera's trying to pick up. And so end of story, I didn't have my white straw hat inside the house. It was kept wherever they keep. We can't wear stuff in their shirts with logos or anything like that. So every season, I think everyone has a few items that you thought were good ideas that, for whatever reason, just don't look good on the camera or violate trademarks, things like that. So my white straw hat disappeared. Otherwise, I would have been wearing a straight up white hat throughout the whole season of Big Brother. Well, I couldn't do it because of the lighting. So instead, I wore closest thing to a white hat. But yeah, that'd be funny if I just showed up wearing a black hat and and see if anyone all picked up on that. Michelle, what about sombrero? Yeah, in this day and age of cultural appropriation, everything else, I'll leave the sombreros alone. But you know what? I do have cowboy hats that are much bigger brims. They're still cowboy hats, but they're much bigger brims that I wear to keep the sun off my shoulders and all of that. I'll probably just stick with the black cowboy hat and go more formal with it. Ma saying Phil Keegan, Julie Chen, and Jeff Probst switch jobs, or Arissa Cox or Julie Chen switch Big Brother. How cool would that be? I would love to see more interactions between all these different reality shows, right? Yeah, I know there's been talk in Celebrity Big Brother about getting Boston Rob in there. When I went on the show, I was halfway expecting Johnny Bananas to be in the house. And then I heard later said, oh, he wouldn't have done regular Big Brother. He'd be much more Celebrity Big Brother, which, think about it. If we got Celebrity Big Brother coming up, I could see Johnny Bananas in there, and I'd love to see how he played the game. He's such a figure on the challenge on MTV. I'd be curious to see how he played Celebrity Big Brother instead. So I think that's not a likelihood. You can't say anyone's a likelihood, but I think it's a possibility Bananas could end up in there. But yeah, I'd love to see all the hosts for these different reality shows switching it up and doing some different ones. Now, can you picture Jeff Probst playing Big Brother? I don't see that in a million years. I think I love Jeff Probst, and Dad, I'd be a little nervous going to the tribal council with him because I've heard he talks for hours and hours, and he grills you on everything, and he pulls everything out of you, even the stuff you don't want to say. I'm curious to see how he'd do inside the Big Brother house. I have a feeling he'd start grilling some people, some other house guests inside the house, the way he does tribal council, and probably make some people mad. They'd be saying, "Yeah, Probst, you're out of here." I think he'd alienate some people because he would ask such pressing questions. Just my thoughts, but that may be fun to see, right? All right, Tim, imagine if CT was in there. There are a lot of people. I hope I'm not too loud. I feel like I'm yelling sometimes. There are a lot of people that are on the challenge that I would love to see in Big Brother. And for those of you who don't know, CT is one of the players on the challenge. He's played forever. He's won the last two. He is definitely a competitor, but he's kind of the older man, because he's been on the show for so long, and so he's kind of grown throughout so many seasons of the challenge. And but he's a social threat. He's still a great athlete and everything else, but he always, he can get people worked up just a little bit. There are some people from the challenge that would be so much fun watching them go on Big Brother. You know who I'd love to see go inside the Big Brother house is Devin. And for those of you who don't watch the challenge, I know y'all are saying, what in the heck are you talking about, Cliff? Who is this? Devin is one of the guys on the challenge, and he's always kind of opposed to the Big Brother players who've then gone on to the challenge, and they always form an alliance that he doesn't like. So he spends a lot of time running around saying, I hate Big Brother, and Big Brother sucks, and all. And people like Josh Martinez just jump on him every time he does it. And he knows how to poke people. I'd like to see Devin go inside the Big Brother house, because I think he's the kind of guy that he would just walk around all day long, just getting people worked up, just for the sake of working them up, just to see how they responded. I picture my season. We didn't really have any instigators. I don't know. Maybe I did a little bit when I was trying to break up the alliance a little bit. I kind of threw a few things out there and did what I could, but we didn't really have anyone in my season that went out of their way to just make the other people mad by saying things just to get them worked up. There were people in my house that were so emotional at times, and I'm not throwing out any names, but y'all could probably guess a few, that got so emotional at times. If you had someone in there intentionally trying to get them worked out, man, we would have had fist fights and hair pulling, and Big Brother on there every other day telling people to go to separate rooms or something, because there are people that wouldn't have handled it well if there was an instigator inside that. Maybe that's how I need to play my next season of Big Brother. Go in there and say, I don't care if I last to the end or not, but I'm going to get some people worked up while I'm in here. I'm just going to poke the whole time and see who goes out of their way to get upset, and maybe exits the house a little bit early because I get them so worked up. That'd be kind of fun, right? I wouldn't last more than a couple of weeks, but it'd be kind of fun. Chaz is saying, would you be a coach for me, for the celebrities if they did a season with coaches? Well, yeah. Oh, absolutely. But can you picture me being a coach for a celebrity? Yeah, like I'm going to go in there. Oh, hey Neil, I've loved you on How I Met Your Mother and Doogie Howser and all that. But let me tell you how you need to play the game. I got a few suggestions for you, Neil. I don't see myself being a coach for celebrities because they'd probably say, yeah, I don't know, maybe they'd be receptive to it. I think I could give them some advice that would help, and I sure would feel pretty cool. I'd feel really, I'd have the biggest inflated head if I got to do something like that. But no, more likely if I got to be a coach for just regular old people going in that house, yeah, I would. And not only would I do it, but I would do it with a passion. I wouldn't even have to play. I mean, if they just said, "Hey, Cliff, hang around for a week ahead of time, give them some coaching lessons, give them some hints or something," or I don't know, pop out of a box in the living room every once in a while and throw out some hints or something. I'd do it because I want to see all these people do well. I want to see people play strategically and match wits against each other. And so I'd be doing everything I could to try to help people along. The first thing I'd be saying is, hey, you don't owe anyone anything, so zip your lips. And two, it's a long, drawn out process. Don't fire everything you got in the first week or two. Just be patient, laid back, quiet, and just ride it out to the end because it takes forever. I'm sure CBS doesn't want to hear that. They want to hear, no, take your shots, go crazy in the first week or two. Don't hold anything back. But it is a long time in the house. So those are some of the hints I would give people if I was in there. So yeah, I'd love to coach if I had a chance. How cool. That'd be pretty cool. I enjoy doing that. All right. A few more comments. I haven't even gotten to some of my stuff on here. First of all, this day in history. We'll do it real quick before I get back to my comments real quick, because I got a couple of them that are kind of cool. This day in history, normally I do this at the very beginning, but y'all got me talking reality TV, and you know how that goes. This day in history, 1901, Spindletop, which doesn't mean a whole lot to a lot of y'all probably, but Spindletop was the first Texas oil well gusher. Not the first oil well in the United States. The first oil well was up in Pennsylvania. Not even the first oil well in Texas, but the first one where they drilled the hole and all of a sudden it comes flowing out of the ground. It took 9 days to cap the well and start producing it. They produced 100,000 barrels a day for quite a few years, several years. Next thing you know, there's so many rigs drilling in this little part. Beaumont is between Houston and the border with Louisiana. Next thing you know, there's so many rigs that you can just step from one rig to the other. It just filled up everywhere. Land was selling for $150 an acre. After Spindletop hit, suddenly it's selling for $50,000 an acre. It's the beginning of oil and gas in the state of Texas, which for me, being an oil guy, petroleum engineer, pretty big deal. And I've been to Spindletop where it was drilled and seen the museum. It's pretty cool. So there you go. 1901, 121 years ago. Yeah, a little before my time. I remember it like it was yesterday, but yeah, a little before my time. So Spindletop in 1901. Two more for you. And I'm not going to take forever because we're already at 7:49. But 1967, golden day in TV history, because it was the beginning of PBS. Y'all know PBS, right? The public broadcasting system. I think there was 60 or 70 channels came together and formed PBS, and is the beginning of, I don't know, I guess they did things for adults too, but 1967, I was 2 years old, and all I know is suddenly we had Sesame Street, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, Electric Company, Villa Alegre, Zoom, all these fantastic kid shows. It's not like today where you can turn on the TV or you can go onto YouTube and watch 40,000 kids videos that are, take you 2 or 3 clicks and you're there and you can watch. Most of them good, some of them not so much. But back in the day, we had limited choices. You could watch soap operas with your parents on all the other channels, or you could go to PBS and watch Sesame Street and all that. I loved me some Sesame Street when I was a kid. So there you go. PBS, 1967. Yeah, I remember Mr. Hooper and Big Bird and Oscar, and Elmo came along a little bit later. He wasn't part of the original. Cookie Monster was. Anyway, we'll do a whole episode on Sesame Street one of these days. because who knows how many kids learn to read and count and everything else because of Sesame Street. So we had that. And a final premiere, final debut on this day in 1999. James Gandolfini and Sopranos premiered. And I've said before on this show, as soon as I hear Sopranos, all I can think of is that song that starts it all off in my mind. Such a great show. I need to go back and rewatch it because it's been a few years. But we had The Godfather, which won all the Academy Awards, and it was so great, but it was very classic 1950s Italian mob and everything. And then you have The Sopranos, which is Family Guy trying to make ends meet. So fantastic. So this day in 1999, Sopranos premiered 23 years ago. So there's my days in history for y'all. I wanted to get those in. All right. Tim Bishop. The casting for Celebrity Big Brother has only gone up each time they've done it. Makes me hopeful for the season. 22 days to go. Yeah, they do good casting. I mean, it's got to be hard to get celebrities on Big Brother that not only will commit their time to it, but I mean, you're taking your career in your own hands when you go onto that show, right? You say something silly or you misstate something or you just do something dumb or it may not even be intentional, but there's things that can cause issues when you go on that show. And if you're someone like an actor or an actress who is so dependent on public perception, you got to be careful, which is always why I'm amazed that they actually have the live feeds during the Celebrity Big Brother as well, because things can happen. And we've seen a few people over the first two seasons who, I don't know, was there anyone who just completely came off as horrific? I don't think so, but I know there's people who came off as just train wrecks or maybe kind of misstated some things and didn't come off with the best perception. And I sure as heck ain't going to be mentioning any names on that, but there's a few over the first couple of seasons that you kind of go, oh, yeah, you may need some counseling here because that's you know what I mean. It's some of those. But we've also had such incredible people. Our Tom Green, perhaps my all-time favorite Celebrity Big Brother contestant because he was so fun. But then we have people like Meta World Peace, who not sure he completely understood the game, but he gave it a shot. And to Braxton, I just remember for her, I mean, she won, so props to her for that. She did a fantastic job. I just remember one competition where they had to go into a haunted house, and she was so scared, and she was terrified. I don't even think she finished it. She said, "Nah, I'm done. I'm not doing this stuff." I just remember at the very end, she has to like go out to a car and hit a button, and there's someone in the back seat, and she said, "I'm not having any of that. I'm done with it." They do a fantastic job casting Celebrity Big Brother. So yeah, I'm excited. I will be watching as soon as they announce it. I'll be watching on Paramount Plus or wherever they announce it, and I'll probably come out here and immediately talk about it because it's great. Myra Garcia and Brian talking about Derek and Cody. Derek and Cody mentioned they know one of the celebrities personally. Seems like it'll be a Big Brother player. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to say no because they obviously maybe know more than if they know someone, then they know more than I do. I don't know. Are there any Big Brother players that reach the ranks of celebrity now? I don't know. Maybe it depends on how far you stretch the term, the label celebrity, right? I mean, there's people like in my season, Kat is so much fun. She's out there all over social media and all of that, but I'm not sure if she's quite to the rank of celebrity Big Brother, right? And I'm trying to think of other, I don't know, Frankie Grande, is he kind of right there on that edge between celebrity and regular? I don't know, or Fessy, or I don't know. If one of them comes in, then fine, let them come in. I'll be curious to see how they interact with the other Celebrity Big Brother people. But I almost feel like I want to see new people. I'm coming from, I guess I'm a vet of Big Brother. So I'm not going to say I don't ever want to see a vet go back into the Big Brother house because I'd love to go back. Hint, hint. But there's something special about seeing people who've never played the game before. And here's what I'd like for Celebrity Big Brother. I would like to see 12, 14, however many people are, probably 12 people. I'd like to see 12 people who not only have never been in the house I don't want to see a return. I've heard Caitlyn Jenner's name mentioned. Well, Caitlyn Jenner just got through doing Celebrity Big Brother over in Australia. I think they called it Big Brother VIP or something. But Caitlyn Jenner just got through doing that version over there. So I don't really want to see her in this version. Omarosa is the same way. Well, of course, Omarosa already did the celebrity version here also. But I want to see people who've never done Big Brother before. And I'd like to see celebrities who are actual fans of the games. Not people who are in there because they just need to rehab their image because something happened and they don't feel comfortable with how they're being portrayed. Yeah, there's always some people like that. I want to see people who say, "Man, yes, I'm an actor and actress. Yes, I'm an Olympic athlete. Yes, I'm a professional ball player, but I am also a huge Big Brother fan. And for me to go in the house would be the most majestic, glorious event ever." Those are the kind of celebrities I want to see go into the house. The ones that have the real passion for the game. And I was just like that when I went into the house my season. There were a couple of people, 3 people in my season that were recruits, and nothing against them. Well, I like the people who came in that just had a passion for the game. And I'm speaking about Tommy and Christy, for example, in my season, and myself, huge fans. And you could just see it in their eyes how excited they were to actually be inside the house, as opposed to a recruit that was more like, this will be a chance for me to maybe become famous enough that I can become an influencer on social media. Yeah, y'all know what I mean. Different people go into that house with different objectives at the end. And I'm all for the super fans and the ones who are passionate about the Big Brother franchise. So that's who I want to see on the celebrity version as well. Don't know if it happened. I'm sure we'll get a mix of a little bit of everything. But that's kind of what I'm thinking about. Wow, it is already 7:58, so I'm going to shut down pretty quick. Sunny saying Sopranos, best show ever. Yeah, I'm not going to argue with you. Now, I may throw some other shows up there that match up with it. I think match up, but it was groundbreaking especially for its time. I mean, The Sopranos really helped make HBO. HBO's had a lot of great shows. I shouldn't say that, but yeah, and I'm glad The Sopranos were on HBO versus regular TV, that maybe they couldn't have shown quite as much and everything. But yeah, it's just I don't know. Can you humanize organized crime? Because really, that's kind of the way it was. Yeah, it's not just a bunch of guys calling out hitmen. It's about, I don't know. It's The Sopranos. Yeah, I agree with you. It was an amazing show. Speaking of amazing shows, and I don't have time to cover it tonight. We'll cover it later. Station 11. Someone recommended it last week, and I can't remember who it was, but thank you. I appreciate it. I've watched the first 4 or 5 episodes of Station 11. It's on HBO Max. Kind of quirky. It's all about a flu pandemic that wipes out most of the people, and there's a bunch of skipping between 20 years in the future and what happened right when it happened. It kind of hits me a little bit like Lost, in that you're not always completely understanding what's going on, and there's some mysteries happening and things like that. But I'm really enjoying it so far. So for whoever recommends Station 11, thank you very much. I absolutely do appreciate it. All right, 8 o'clock. We didn't even talk about Amazing Race. I love me some Amazing Race. We'll talk about it next week. I lost one of the teams I was cheering for, but I gotta say, I really like Spencer and Anthony and Dusty and Ryan. They were all in London, having a grand old time. And for those of you who haven't watched it yet, find it out in Paramount Plus and watch it. It was a cool way to start the season, and it was 2 hours long. I didn't expect that, but not enough hours or not enough minutes to even cover Amazing Race tonight. But that's all right. We'll cover it next time, guys. Y'all have a fantastic evening. I'm getting ready to watch some college football myself. I think we got some Bachelor on as well, which I don't really talk much about on here, but I got a few different shows I'm going to be watching after I get done this evening. Y'all have a fantastic Monday. For those of y'all who are up there in 1 degree temperatures and all of that, get some hot cocoa and stay warm, stay indoors as much as you can, or else bundle up, one or the other. But everyone stay safe. Have a fantastic second week of January. I will see y'all next Monday. We'll talk about, who knows what kind of rumors and stuff we'll be hearing about Celebrity Big Brother by next week. It's coming. It's going to be here before we know it. Guys, y'all have a fantastic Monday night. I will talk to y'all in another week, if not before then. Cheers, guys. Y'all have a great one. SKD143. Love my wife, love my kids, love the reality TV fans. I love all y'all as well. Those of you watching live, those of you watching later, thanks to both of y'all. If you haven't done so already, I'd appreciate getting a like on the video. But more importantly than that, subscribe, and then you'll get updates. If I end up doing some extra recaps or anything else, it'll get you heads up as soon as I post something new. So, guys, y'all have a great one. SKD143 one more time. Cheers, my friends. Night. Bye. See y'all later.